What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Cooking with Whiskey. It's a nice sunny day out here. Had to get the shades on. And it's a Friday. Cheers. Ah, yum. If you guys watched the last video, I did a review on my Weber Summit Kamado. If you haven't watched that, there's going to be a link up here, so you can go check that one out if you're interested in that review. But in that video, I said the next review was going to be my 1.5 year review of my Weber Smokefire. The grill, the pellet cooker everyone loves to hate. Well, I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to give you my opinion. Let's start off with a few stats. Weber Smokefire I have is the EX6. It's a 36-inch wide cooker. 1,008 square inches of cooking space, including the top rack. Now this one has I believe both of them have the same. It's a 20-pound hopper. It's got casters. 2 of them are locking. It's got let me check. I got my trusty measure tape here. Let's check to see what size these are. So when I have little pauses like that, that's a good time to like and subscribe to the video. And when I walk away or something like that, it's a good time to leave a nice comment. Nice comments. That's what YouTube's all about. Nice. 3-inch casters. That's what the tape says, and I believe it, because I know how to measure. It rolls around the patio pretty good, but you know, you hit one little rock and breaks, man. So I don't know if that's a pro or con. I don't know, because I can't compare it. I don't know what the other ones are coming with. So gets around fine. You know, hits a little rock, it stops, but doesn't hurt my feelings too bad. That's it with the specs off the top of my head. So we're gonna have to get right into checking her out. Let's get under the hood. Weber EX6. It's a little dirty. She gets used a lot. So let's go ahead and start on the outside, shall we? So I would start off with something positive, because that's the way I'm built. It does have the standard Weber porcelain enameled coating, which I love. It's going to last a lifetime. It's all on the outside, and I believe it's on the inside too. I do like the stainless steel bar. It matches the Weber Kamado very nicely. I like all the stainless, it's nice. There's one over here. I don't use this one much because it's butted up against the old Blackstone. And you got the stainless steel side tray here. A couple hooks. There's a control panel. Now, this is a version 1, which I'm sure you guys would probably enjoy to hear that more about that as we go on. It does come with 1 probe, but when I got the version 2 mod, it came with a spare. Now this does have a rear hopper, which is pretty uncommon. I think the only one that I know of that has a rear hopper is the Rectech. Now the version 2 mod, it did come with another what do you want to call that, had like a more inclined piece of metal, so it would supposed to come down. I'll tell you what, I have it. I never installed it. Let me go grab it, and while I'm gone, you could grab a beer, make a cocktail, like, subscribe, leave a very nice comment in the section down below. I'll be right back. Now with the power of editing, you guys probably might witness that break, but I was only gone about 20 seconds. I don't know if other people just walk away from their YouTube channel. I don't know. I did. Here's this piece here. So technically what happens is, put it in and you get a steeper incline. So you get, you know, it's supposed to run off like that. And Yeah, that's what it does. I never installed it because I don't use it. That was loud. It was already like that when I got here. Anyways, I don't use it. I don't need it. I'll get into more of that later. So like I said, rear hopper, very similar to the Rectech that has that. And I guess that will be the first con. The way this is designed, the pellets are coming down at an angle on one side, the other side's flat. So what happens is they start to bind up and they don't want to slide down. So they sent out that insert to give it a deeper incline. It probably works, maybe it does, I don't know. But what Rectech did, theirs is a V-shaped. So all the pedals coming down from both sides. If Weber would have done that, they actually probably got more of a larger hopper capacity. Like I said earlier, this is 20. They probably got more, 30, 40. There's plenty of room over there to do it. So, I don't know. That's a con. They could have done that. But on the other hand, it doesn't bother me too much. You know, I know there's people out there that it's a huge con for. You know, because some folks like to set up their barbecue and cook stuff while they're sleeping at night, and I don't do that. I barbecue during the day because I enjoy it. I like to listen to music and have some beers and swim and do yard work and enjoy the whole process. But you know, some people want to do that, and you know, if you want to be a Betty Crocker, you could just heat your oven up or put it in a crock pot. I don't know, it's up to you. But that's not my style, so it's not a big deal for me to open it up every hour or two and just push the coals down a little bit. So, well, I'll put it as a con because I think they didn't do a very good job on design. It doesn't bother me that much, so it's almost kind of a wash. But if that's something important to you, I could see why, I guess. Betty Crocker. Okay, like I said, back to the presentation. Now we went to the back, down to the front. Here's the ash catcher. And this is also a grease pan. I didn't clean any of this out because I want you guys to see what it really looks like. So it's got some stuff there. And there's actually some grease in there. It's kind of dried up. It's not a bad thing. Weber does send it with a foil thing in there. I think you just clean it out yourself or just line it with tinfoil yourself. But overall, it's not that bad of a thing to me. One thing I don't like, see how this got this gap right here? That's because there's ash behind this drawer. And sometimes when the dog runs by, he runs underneath here, he kicks this thing forward, and if it's not shut all the way, ash gets behind it. So I have to go behind there with a shop vac and get it out. So I just wish this thing was a little tighter. See how it's got this slack? I just wish it was tighter. It's probably something I could design myself to make it tighter in there so it doesn't want to come out very easily, like if the dog runs by it or something. So I don't know. It's not the best design, but it's not a deal breaker. I dig these thick ass steel legs, and then they are thick. Let's go on the inside. Like I said, I did not clean this. The last time I cleaned it was right before Thanksgiving, so I knew I was going to smoke some turkeys. So we're all going to see how bad it looks together. This thing gets cooked on about 2 or 3 times a week at least. Now, like I said, 1,008 square inches cooking space, including the top rack. Let's start with the racks. These are not stainless steel. I don't like that. I think at this price point it should come with them. I think Weber should include it. When you're getting something for over $1,000, this is 1,100, I think. That should be stock. Not happy with that. Secondly, this shelf. Are you serious, Weber? Come on. Let's get the measuring tape. How much bigger they could have made the thing. They could have made this a good solid 5 inches bigger. I mean, I would have paid 20 bucks for this to be larger. I would have paid 50 extra bucks for stainless steel. I would have paid 25 extra bucks for bigger wheels. This is just stupid. This is lazy. I don't like it. So that's that. The only time I really cook anything up here is if I do briskets. You can get some pork butts up in there too. Let's get that one out. Get out of my life. So, as you see, it's dirty. Once I heat it up, I use my Weber wire brush. Get it all clean. I do have the Weber extra long, which does help. Now we're gonna have to get on the inside here and get dirty. So, if you're familiar at all with gas grills or Weber gas grills, they call these Flavorizer bars. Now, I think on most grills, gas grills, they're just called heat diffusers. But they are stainless steel. You can't tell that by now. I've washed these once. I soaked them in some water and vinegar, and they look brand new. But I don't really care what it looks like on the inside. You know, that only matters with humans. Well, looking hot on the outside is kind of important too. But this is a cooker, so it comes with these, and the process behind this is the idea of what like the gas grills do. So the juices come down, they hit these Flavorizer bars, and that's supposed to bring flavor back up. Much like if you cook over a live fire, like a Weber kettle. The pit boss over there. So the theory is that the meat juices drop down on the coals or the wood, and that flavor comes up and enhances the flavor of your meat. I know it works in the pit barrel, that's for sure. Whether it does anything on this, I do not know. Let's see if we can get in here. See how, let me get my flashlight on here so we can get a look how nasty she is. Bear with me. So that's where we're at right now. It's really not that bad. Now the grease port, I can't see that, so I'm not shocked that that's buried. So one of the cons of this grill, or one of the ones a lot of the people on the internet bitch about, is that the grease and the ash meet together and they just combine this kind of paste. Here's the tool that Weber includes to clean it. So you can see it's just this kind of paste almost turning into a glue of some sort. Like, you could probably insulate a log cabin with this. It would probably be fairly flammable, so I wouldn't recommend it. But the idea is, when the grease tray is not clogged with this mixture of ash and grease, it goes somewhere down here in this grease drain, which is not visible. And it should be right about there. So in theory, that's what it's supposed to do. It does not do that. A lot of people complain of grease fires. Excuse me. And let's talk about that grease fire thing for a minute, because I have mixed feelings on this. So when this grill first came out, you know, a lot of these YouTubers came out and they made these videos and cooked a bunch of briskets, then cooked a bunch of pork butts, and the next day they fired this thing up to 600 degrees and they had grease fires. Well, no shit, man. If you ever cooked a brisket or a bunch of pork butts on a Weber kettle, the next day fired that thing up super hot coals to cook some burgers or something, grease fire. Yeah, gotta have a little common sense here. And I'm not calling those people out, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I don't know if that's a totally fair review, because I do believe that, like when I've done briskets, and I've done a lot of them on here, and when I've done pork butts, I'm gonna clean that sucker out if I plan on cranking this thing up to 500-600 degrees, because I got something in between my two ears here. It's formerly known as common sense. Use it. Most of you have it. So like I said, this thing is not built like the other ones. Most pellet grills have this large heat diffuser, like a cookie sheet, and that's an incline, and as the grease and the juices come down, they go down to a bucket on the exterior of the cooker. This doesn't have that. You should know it doesn't have that. So I don't know if that's a problem for you, that you might have to clean this before you crank it up 600 degrees. Well, maybe it's not for you, but you could do what I've done, and I think a lot of people have done, is just put a full pan under your brisket or your pork butts, and then you got no mess, and you still get all the great smoke, because you don't got to fight this giant cookie sheet that these other pellet cookers got that make it fight harder for the smoke. So like I said, it's a little common sense. Might be too much work for the Betty Crockers out there, I don't know. And you know what, I don't like to, I sound like an asshole calling people Betty Crockers, but you know, if that's offensive to you, or you find that insulting, well, it's meant to be. Let's move on. So now we have to get to the fire pot. Yeah, it's dirty too. So she does need a good cleaning. It's been a few months. So this is the fire pot cover. This pops off. Now what's also a little unique about the Weber is the fire pot's in the center. So the heat source is dead center of the smoking chamber, right? And our heat vents, your exhausts are right there. So I think that keeps this thing pretty even on the surface as far as temperatures. It doesn't vary as much. I would assume if you got a cooking pot, a fire pot on one side, and you got a pipe coming out to the exhaust on the other side, on the opposite, you're gonna have some hot spots, probably close to the hot spot where the fire source is, the heat source. Probably be a little cooler where your exhaust is. This one's no different. Hottest spot seems to be right around here over the top of this thing. Now you got the middle heat diffuser, but it seems to be a little hotter just to the right of the fire pot. Now, like I said, this is a Gen 1. So let's talk about that for a sec. So it's a Gen 1. Weber sent out to everybody, at least everybody who requested it, replacement parts to make it a, well, you want to call it the version 2, Gen 2 replacement parts. That included that piece of steel brake metal that I just threw behind me a little while ago. Included a brand new one-piece auger, which is definitely an upgrade, and new glow plugs, and they actually gave me a few extras too, which was kind of nice. Very nice. Trying to think. That was it. Then they threw in a few free bags of pellets too. Good job, Weber. But let me tell you, I can see why they had problems with that first auger. It was overfeeding at times, and it was way too much pellets. So you're getting this larger fire in there that could possibly turn into a burn back, go through your auger and get back up to your pellets, which would be a problem. Never happened to me, but I did get the problem where it overfilled too much, and I didn't like that. With the new auger, that hasn't happened since. So anybody that has one now, the second gen or the Gen 1 or the Gen 2 mod on the version 1, you should be good. I will say, since we were just looking at the fire pot, it does flame out every now and then. It's not wind. It's not, I don't think it's a pellet brand, and I don't know if it's common on a lot of other pellet grills either. I don't know. It's not the biggest deal. When it happens, I know now. If this thing doesn't blow smoke in 60 seconds, I know it didn't start, so I'll start the whole process over. You just got to go down there and get that pellet pot, fire pot cleaned back out. And that's where I showed you earlier with the ash pan, sometimes it looks like there's large pellets in there. So when I clean that fire pot, some of those chunks of uncooked pellets fall down in there. So keep that in mind if that's a problem. I'm sure it's nothing anybody wants, but I think flame outs or not starting is pretty common among pellet cookers. My mouth was getting dry. But like I said, it doesn't happen very often, maybe every few months. But once it starts, it starts. So I want to take that back. I don't have flame outs. It's just there's times where it won't start up, the lighting process. Once it starts, the sucker runs. So I haven't had any issues with that. So then we got into all the innards of this thing. We did the outside, we did the specs, we did the inside. Well, let's just break it down into some of the things I like, some of the things I don't like. This is an honest review, non-biased. I do own a few Weber products, but I'll make it as unbiased as I can. What I do like. Oh wait, I was gonna talk about the last part, the digital controller. Let's get into that. So this ain't much different than, let's turn it on. It's not any different than probably any other one. Looks like I already fucked something up right there. Oops, I'm gonna have to edit out that word. I don't cuss very often. Just kidding, I do all the time. Yeah, it looks like I did something right there. Well, I haven't noticed that until right now. Anyways, this is where you set your temperature. So if I want to start on right now, I'd push this button. Okay, that takes you your temp. Okay. And it'll take you back. Now if you plug your ports in right here, temperature probe, excuse me, there's 4 underneath, which is another pet peeve. I think it should come with all 4 of them. So then, see, that's your temperature. Scroll down here. Now you can set your probe temperatures if you want alerts. Now these things are for like menus, timer. I mean, it does have this thing where you can like go on your app on your phone. Let me pull this out here. And you know, I do like it as far as if I'm in the house and I want to check it really quick. If I'm making a nice cocktail or getting a side dish ready, but it's pretty cool. But let's bring in. So it doesn't look any different than probably most apps. So it shows the temp. It'll give you a reminder when it comes to the temperature you set it at, and it'll give you reminders of your meat probes if you've gone over your set temperature. Like if I want to do a brisket and I want to set it to 200, it's gonna go off and beep at 200. But there's these other things with like you know, recipes and stuff like that. Look, it's loading. So it's got all that. Weber recipes teach you how to cook. Easy bake oven stuff. If you want to put your apron on and do some Betty Crocker in, well, that app might just be for you. It's not my style, but that's okay. So back to the things I like. First one, it's got to be the flavor. It tastes like barbecue. It tastes like smoked food, because that's what I like the most. This is my first pellet cooker, so I'm not a pellet cooker expert, nor do I claim to be, and I would find it offensive if someone called me one. But flavor is what's important, and it's really good. Like, it's really good. And I've ate food from other friends and family who have pellet cookers, and I thought those tasted good too, but I think this tastes better. But this is my video, so it's my opinion, and I'm allowed to do that. Second thing that I really like Well, I like the build quality. It's that Weber build quality. It's heavy. It feels heavy. It feels built well. You know what I mean? The door's got weight to it. Moving it around, you feel the heft to it. This doesn't feel like a little cheap tin can. So that's a positive. The second is the grill capacity, the cooking space, 1,000 square inches. That's more than the competitors in its price range. I think the Traeger Ironwood, I think it costs more than this and less grilling space. The Timberline is almost double this to have more grilling space. I would say probably the only thing well, I don't know the exact specs on the Traeger. I don't follow too much stuff made in China, so I don't know. I know that the big Traeger is like 1,300 square inches, but it's way over $2,000. But the one that's probably closest to this one as far as price and cooking space is probably that Rec Tech, I think. But that's also the same. I don't pay too much attention out of stuff made out of China. I just don't care. I like stuff. I know a lot of stuff's made overseas. A lot of stuff's made in China, and there's stuff we just can't get cheaper. But the things I can buy made here, I will, because that's important to me. And if that's not important to you, that's okay too. It's a free country. You're allowed to be wrong. But that's a pro to me. What you get, the amount of cooking space for the price. Mine was, I think, $10.99. I think they're still around the same price, and I think in that price range is probably about the best you're going to get. But you know, then you start going into the big box store, you know, under 800 ones, and hey, those are fine too. Get what you can afford. But this is a review about this one, so that's what we're going to talk about. I talked mostly about the cons while I was doing the review, but I'll do a breakdown of them again. The ash management system on the bottom, the tray that pulls out, wish that was a little tighter. It didn't come out as easy. Don't like that. I don't like that it didn't come with stainless steel grilling grates. I don't like that the top grate was about 5 inches too short. Don't like that at all. That's stupid. The grease management is not ideal. I was trying to think of a way that they could fix it. Like I'll do some free research and development for you, but part of the way it's set up is the way they get the flavor that it does, that gives it almost that borderline offset cooker kind of taste. And if you don't believe me, go watch Mad Scientist video. Jeremy Yoder, he did a review. He said pretty much the same thing. This thing tastes pretty damn close to an offset. And it is because of that design, I do believe. Now, if they could figure out a way to get that grease draining better and keep that ash down a little bit, this is probably the best one on the market. But they got to fix that first. The other one's the hopper. Like I said, that's a push. I don't really care too much. That's pretty much it. I like it. If you can deal with a few quirks, you got a little common sense, you can get yourself a good cooker. If you can't, you know, go get yourself an apron. I'm just joking. I keep saying that. All right, that's a review of the Weber Smokerfire E6 Gen 1. Whiskey out. Later.